Next up is Andre Bay.
Good day, Commissioners. Deb. Commissioner Hollinger, it was nice to meet you before the meeting. I reiterate my appreciation for your public service to the county.
Thank you.
I heard you was in D.C. around March 1st.
I think, March 1st is right in the middle of me being there. Great.
Yeah, that's a great day. As far as I'm concerned, President Trump signed an executive order hit March 1st. And I'm just going to cover just a little bit of it. You all know about it, but I want to put it out there for the public. And the executive order is the immediate expansion of American timber production. And the purpose is the production of timber, lumber, paper, bioenergy, and other wood products, timber products, is critical to our nation's well-being. Timber production is essential for crucial human activities, construction and energy production, and it goes on about disasters, wildfires. Has a directive here for the first year, covers streamlined permitting and Endangered Species Act. So I just want to put that out there for those that watch. I know you guys are on it. What I want to know is, can we expect an update tonight, maybe, on how this is affecting the county and what you have been up to?
Yes. Yeah.
I have to leave, but I will watch.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have an update.
So that's all I was really hoping for. I know you both have been working on that hard.
Yep.
And I haven't heard an update. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And I'll watch online.
Thanks, Andre. About the timber executive order. Yes, that has things very much stirring in the timber industry. If you were unaware, Oregon is the #1 producer of dimensional lumber, plywood, and LP in the United States. It's the #1. That is our #1 export. So this speaks almost directly. Some of this speaks almost directly to the ONC lands, which we have now, because the ONC lands have not been being utilized as they were intended. They've actually become what we're describing as a national strategic timber reserve, it was evident by the president's executive order that he wants these lands opened back up and working, bringing lumber into our communities so that we stop. We export our lumber to China and we import our lumber from Canada. And we've been using our lumber, it seems like, a lot of times. So, stopping some of that and getting into, getting after it in terms of producing on our end number. It's interesting. Some people say, well, they don't have the capacity anymore. And this is one of the biggest things the ANC committee is really trying to push back on. We do have the capacity. We have the capacity right now with the Mozambique operation in the state of Oregon to increase production 1 billion board feet. We can produce 1 billion more board feet of lumber a year just for what our current infrastructure. So we have the ability, we have the capabilities. To put that in perspective, to provide enough lumber to rebuild the Palisades in LA would take the Douglas County laws 3 weeks to produce. 3 weeks. It would take 3 weeks to produce enough lumber to rebuild the entire Palisades that was just burned. And we have that capacity here. So, point is, yes, there is a resurgence with this, we do have a meeting later this month with the incoming director of the BLM to update her about the ONC contracts and agreements, and President Trump's obvious desire to fulfill that. And in addition to that, the current acting director of the BLM is a Cruz Douglas guy. He knows these lands. He knows these lands very well. He knows the contract very well too. Yes. And so he's also working to onboard the new director so we can get back to what is the most important term for the ONC contract, which is sustainable yield. Sustainable yield. Our current contract, to put this in perspective, is that by their own plan, the current forest plan developed by the BLM, is they will harvest 200 million board feet annually in ONC lands. They've hit that target runtime in 8 years. Runtime in 8 years. The sustainable yield for the ONC lands is 1.2 billion board feet annually. And right now, there has been such a lack of production that we are so overgrown in that area, in those areas, that it would take us almost 20 years of continuous logging over sustainable yield to get back to it was a healthy sustainable yield rate. So we're leaving billions for forest fires and everything else of bird feet, dead, decaying, and dying timber out there because we're not managing those lands. So that seems to be being directed by executive order to get corrected, and I think we will see that that will be a big advantage for us now. For this group, I do want to update you on something. So we elect our rep monies we're going to see on a 2-year basis. We either choose secure rear screws, SRS dollars, or we choose tender receipts. Now, we elected for secure rule screw money because that's always been more than the receipts. But what we're fighting for right now is, at the federal level, is to be able to have a re-election of what we want to receive, because we expect that timber receipts are going to far supersede secure war schools dollars going in these next 2 years. And so we would like to be able to have the option to re-elect what monies we want to receive. So that's one of the big things that the committee is pushing back on the federal government to be able to do. So there's some update.
INA, when he was here during his public comment, stated, I was in Washington, D.C. last month for just a little over a week. I attended the National Association of Counties conference out there. That conference, there are many subcommittees, and being like a natural resources committee or a health committee or a transportation committee. So depending on kind of what your interest is in at any given time, you can attend those meetings. You can even be a member of those committees to help lobby for the changes that you want to see happen in your county, your state, your region, etc. So while I was up there, I attended the natural resources conferences. And within those conferences, they had several guest speakers, and some of those guest speakers were members of the federal administration. Secretary Rowlands, who's the Secretary of the Agriculture who oversees the Forest Service, she was there and she spoke. The acting director of BLM was there and he spoke. The Intergovernmental Agency Relations Director for the Forest Service was there and spoke, along with several others. The message regarding what the new administration is doing is a complete modernization and reformation in driving efficiency within every single department in the the federal government. So Forest Service, BLM, the two, that affect us here are going through a complete modernization and restructuring as we speak. They're also refilming NEPA. They're reforming the Endangered Species Act as well in order to prevent them from being weaponized as they have been weaponized in the past. And one of the examples of that is, in which they brought up, was a lot of the large and small environmentalist groups throughout the nation are solely funded through federal monies. A lot of them are. They take those monies and they sue the government under the guise of NEPA and the Endangered Species Act in order to stop a lot of the production in the timber industry. So they are working on addressing all of those. And there was a case I know here recently where Greenpeace lost a lawsuit back to the federal government in the amount of $660 million. So again, that's just one agency or one group that does get funded by the government that has on several occasions litigated the federal government with their own money in order to get the federal government to lose and slow production. So we're addressing all of that right now. I have been attending some meetings here over the past month as well with some local collaboratives. Just opening the conversation regarding some cooperation and ideas in regards to making public or private industry more accessible in our forests, to increase our industry and to help restore our forests through thinning projects or timber sales or reducing fuel loads throughout the forest. And we actually had a very good, Ted and I had a very good conversation last week with the Forest Service. We spoke with the Pacific Northwest director, as well as the regional directors and local district rangers. And they gave us a lot of good information, and they're, again, willing to help out and work with us in order to accelerate a lot of that forest restoration that we have here to help boost industry and help prevent massive wildfire in our county. So yeah, between what Commissioner Tro said and that, there's a lot of cards in place right now. We're waiting to see where a lot of these pieces fall in the federal administration right now. We're seeing the changes, and as things kind of get settled and there's some new structure in place, we'll be able to better know how to move forward on our end as well. So that's my forest update. And
Nice.
But before we keep going into other comments, did you have any other comments or any other stuff you wanted to get into before I got into anything further?
Go for it.
Oh, you good?